hot topic, we've got some questions that came in from members too, is about sales tax. And like what things we need to be collecting sales tax on. Can you talk a little bit about sales tax?
Sure, so sales tax is a difficult industry and really topic to kind of understand. Essentially, if you're providing services, you don't have to worry about sales tax. So sales tax is really for tangible products. So, again, in the creative field, if you're providing services, maybe there isn't sales tax. But anything that is tangible, whether it be a book, anything online as well, can be considered a tangible product. Sales tax also is specific.
Sorry, when you say anything online, you mean something tangible that's sold online, not online?
You mean like
An
PDF?
e-learning booklet could be subject to sales tax. The PDF that you're what are you sending for the PDF?
Maybe it's online boarding process so that someone can learn.
Yes.
It's on a PDF.
So again, an ebook, if it were an ebook, sure. Certain websites can be considered tangible product. Products, definitely. I mean, if you're selling online, if you're selling clothing, if you're selling, books, if you're selling anything that's tangible, there is sales tax. Sales tax is also only specific to where you're working or where you have employees. So if you are a product-oriented business, if you're making t-shirts and you're based in New York and you ship out the t-shirts to California, you don't have to charge sales tax to the item that's going to California. If you're in New York and you send a t-shirt to someone in New York, you do have to charge sales tax to that person in New York. T-shirt may not have been the best example, and again, in a very complicated arena, there's certain clothing items below $110 are not subject to sales tax in New York City. Every single county in New York State has a separate sales tax rate. There are different services that are subject to state tax but not city tax, and vice versa. So sales tax is a very complicated area. Owners are also personally liable for sales tax. So both employment tax and sales tax, payroll tax and sales tax, the owners are personally on the hook for, and they're not dischargeable. So you always want to make sure that you're both registered for and collecting the proper sales tax that you should be.
For that, example, sending something to California, if you're not personally situated there, but California has asked that you pay taxes there because you earn a lot of money there,
Okay,
are
so
you liable to
there is
collect
what's called
sales?
economic nexus.
Yes,
And
exactly.
economic nexus has really been turned on its head with the Wayfair. So there was this big Wayfair decision. The company Wayfair is situated all over the country. They send items all over the country. Amazon as well. Amazon has locations all over the country. Depending on where they're shipping to, they do or do not charge sales tax. So the economic sales tax threshold is about $100,000 in most of the states. So if you're below 100,000, they're not going to request you for sales tax. If you're above 100, then you're above the economic sales tax threshold.
Sales is above 100,000?
Sales.
Okay.
Shipped to that point, shipped to that state.
So even though you're paying California taxes,
So income
State
tax,
tax,
income tax is not sales tax.
I understand that, but even though you might be, they've demanded that you pay California on what you've earned in California, taxes to California, you don't have to collect sales tax unless it's over 100,000.
In a blanket statement, I would say yes. Obviously, you would have to look more close. I mean, you selling tangible products into California?
No,
Okay.
no, and I don't live there, but I just have a high percentage of my income comes from there. And I used to pay it all here, and then California came after me, and I had to refile,
Okay.
get refund back from New York, and send it to
Yes, so
California.
California is tricky. If are you an LLC?
No.
Okay, so that changes the form, but not necessarily the answer. California wants their money.
Yeah.
And
they
if
do.
you're paid as an independent contractor in California, or from a California entity,
Yeah.
they want their tax.
Yeah.
And in that case, you would file an amended return, you get a credit for the taxes paid to New York.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily a sales tax issue, that'd
So
be
I
more of
don't
an
have to worry
income
about
tax
that.
issue.
Okay, good.
If you have employees in a certain state or multiple states, that gives you nexus. that would create a sales tax filing requirement. If you have multiple locations in different states, that would create a sales tax nexus, and again, a filing requirement.
So in terms of sales tax on like digital products, if your services are to create graphics, photos, videos that are all digital for your clients, is there sales tax on those files?
Maybe. So a lot of tax is, for those of us old enough in the room to remember what a choose your own adventure book is, a lot of tax is choose your own adventure books. So you kind of have to look at the fact patterns, each one, and then go down the decision tree model and figure out whether or not it is going to be subject to sales tax or not. So an online presence being tangible, it's still a little bit of a gray area. So you would actually have to look at what exactly you are selling. What tangible product could you say? Are you design? Is it a logo?
Yes,
it-
that is, no, yes.
A logo can be considered an intangible asset. If you are a wedding photographer, and this is another area that some people say yes, some people say no. If you're providing digital photos for the wedding photographer, some don't charge sales tax. If you're providing a photo album, they do charge sales tax on the photo album. So again, it really does depend, and if you looked at the letter of the law and you looked at exactly what it is that you're kind of preparing and sending out, then you would see if it's subject to sales tax or not.
I had a client one time, so we produce a lot of photo shoots and videos and graphics and all kinds of things, but we had one of our clients say that every invoice had to have for digital use only on there, and then that would make it exempt from sales tax.
Right, so again, in that example with the wedding photographer, where if you're sending a digital, like here are all the pictures that I took. I took 150 pictures, here are all of them. Not subject to sales tax. If you provide the album, subject to sales tax. That, putting a disclaimer on it in and of itself does not absolve you from liability. Right, I mean, you could put a disclaimer on anything that you want and say, oh, no, it's a disclaimer, I didn't mean it, I didn't do it. But you would really still have to look and see, again, every state has different rules for sales tax, for income tax considerations. So you would have to look. If it is videos, the disclaimer itself may not absolve you from the requirement for sales tax.